somebody put something on social media. He said that, how come that, Ransford, I sent you a graphic story. Can you get it ready? Graphic front page. Can you get it ready for me, please? It says, how come that the economy is so bad, even though today we are hearing some good news, we all don't know whether it is sustainable or not, yeah. But we're hearing some good news. And yeah, I'll take this at the end. So let's come back to Oforiatta. I'll take this at the end. So get it ready. So the person said, how come that the system is so difficult? And it is. Petrol prices for all of us have tripled. Sometimes minimum doubles. For some people tripled, depending on how far you stay. And he said, but how are they able to keep the lights on? But I thought that was an interesting question. And coupled with what happened today with the city situation, shouldn't we be giving credit to the managers of the economy? See, because, and you can send your text messages on this one, yeah? There's international crisis. When you're a manager of an economy or a manager of a country or you are a government, you cannot stop crisis from coming because we live in a global world, okay? You can't stop crisis from coming. How we judge you is how you manage the crisis. And that's very, very important. Because what the guy wrote on social media is true. We have essential major currencies devalued by something. They said the CD is the worst performing currency after the other one, Sri Lanka, which is ground to a halt. And in that process, the government has paid COLA. The government has continued to keep the schools on. There are about 800 or so schools that are eating every day. Yeah, sometimes we see that a particular school, the food didn't come. We see all that. But that's an isolated case, about 1%, which we need to resolve, and which I believe the education minister is resolving. But the schools are being fed. Day students are being fed as they were fed from 2018 when the policy started. And government is still paying school fees of secondary school children. And the secondary school children have been increasing since 2018, 2019, 2021. In fact, in 2020, government paid for the exams. They didn't take examination fees from them. They bought past questions for them. All of these government payments are going on in the period of such severe economic crisis. We have to stop and think and say that the managers of the economy may be doing something right, or they understand how to deal with crisis, especially coming from today. So I like to put them on the photograph and then we pray for them and congratulate them. Ken Oforiatta is the one who leads all of these things. And he had a successful meeting with the IMF yesterday. The IMF boss tweeted and said he had a successful meeting with the Oforiatta, and IMF was going to help Ghana to restabilize the situation. In an unstable situation, government has kept the lights on. Roads are being done. Today, the road minister was complaining about the e-levy. Of course, I think that the e-levy must be amended. I think, and I've spoken to a few business people who can agree with that. Bring e-levy to 5%, remove all the exemptions. There's no exemption. You send 1 CD 5%, you send 2 Ds 5%, you send 100 CDs. Don't do any exemption, but bring it down to 0.5%, and let's see what happens. Because all of us are now taking advantage of the exemptions. Because exemptions are so many, and how the exemptions come? Minority in parliament will not pass the bill, taking advantage of the close numbers in parliament, and this, that, to frustrate the process so government doesn't get revenue. In spite of government not getting revenue, the schools are still open, and the children are there. They've paid the COLA. And I'll show you the graphic story. Muhammadu Baumia was saying that in NHIS, it is expanding. I mean, that's serious. We are all suffering, so it's very easy to overlook these things. Everybody's suffering. But NHIS has been expanded to include cancer for children. That seems to me like a responsible government. I know some people may not agree with it, but you have to disagree on facts. That seems to me like a responsible government. And I'll show you where Dr. Baumia announced that cancer treatment for children has been added to the NHIS in the time of crisis, currency devaluation, all of that. So let's pray for Ken Oforiatta. Congratulations to him. Charles Eduboyan is the other guy. He spoke on radio, I think, and said that he predicted correctly that the 750 minus 37, if you like, if you know what I mean. If you know, as they say. The 750 minus the 37 will help shore up the city and the cocoa board bond that they are doing. Charles Eduboyan said that it looks like it's happening. We just don't know how long we'll be able to sustain it because we live in a global world. But for the rest of the government payments that are being discharged, you have to give them credit. Your lights are on. In 2013, 2014, we didn't have a global financial crisis. We didn't have a global anything. Russia and Ukraine were having peace. And yet our lights went off. And now we have this huge crisis and our lights are still on. And not just the lights on, nurses allowances are being paid, teachers allowances are being paid, people are being employed, doctors have been employed, nurses have been employed, and the light is on, the children are in school, they are eating our food. I mean, that's very interesting. I saw the post on social media by the journalist and I said, wow, this is very interesting. So Charles, we'll pray for you. You guys are doing well. And this is John Kuma, my MP. He's been talking quite a bit about the 47 and 75. He and Case Latoforsen have been having a banter over that. I believe John Kuma, he said that it's simple. When you take a loan, you need to retain some. I think that's quite simple. Even as individuals, when we take a loan from the bank retains a little bit of it, doesn't it? Okay. So John Kuma, my MP. And then Abena, the only lady in there, working so hard. Other ministers of state. Matthew Poku Prempe is the one who is keeping the lights on. Before then, he had kept education running. Now he's keeping the lights on. He sent the Ameri plant to Kumasi. So Kumasi now have a different texture of how their power supply will work. And it will work from now for a very long time to come. Congratulations to him. I mean, this is a crisis moment. It's a full crisis moment all over the world. Your lights are still on in an African country. As we say, in a poor African country. Dr. Sayedichum is running around the whole country. Every day he's in a different school. He's building STEM schools. He's building the science capacity. He's working hard at it. He's now done an exam. He'll come back to the studio to tell us. He's done an exam for class 4s all over the country to be able to test their numeracy and literacy skills in class 4. Never happened in Ghana before. When I was younger, we used to do an exam in class 6. We call it common entrance exam. That's what ushered us to secondary school. He's now doing the American type class 4. So he's done an exam for all class 4s. Same question answered across the country. He showed me the data. I went to his office. The data shows regional performances, and you'll be surprised that the Ahafo region has the highest literacy for class 4 children in Ghana. Very interesting. I've invited him to come. He's busy. He'll come and share that with us. He's working in the crisis. The currency is gone. Everything is gone, but education is working. Health is working. And so Dr. Sayedichum, congratulations. Alan Chamati is doing trade. He's been working so hard on AFTA forever. He's been working very, very hard on AFTA. Even during COVID, he was seeing increased revenue at the port. Very hard working. Of course, we know he has his eye on the presidency, but Alan Chamati has been doing the work. And I think that we should congratulate these people. Also, Efria Akoto's sister is in the studio tonight. He'll be talking to us about their father, Bafo Akoto. Yesterday, I spent an interesting time with him in his office. So he's been calling me. We've been sort of missing each other. So I showed up his office yesterday. He was there. You know, he's always there. He's a very chatty and happy man. And then I asked him that, Minister, this thing, you're not going to win. Oh. He said, Paul, I'm going to win. I just laughed. I said, are you sure? He said, you sit down there. I will win. I said, you will win. Then he said, I am winning. And he was excited, jumping about. Then he said, okay, let's talk about Wednesday's program. I graciously accepted his invitation. He's a very good man to MC the event tomorrow at the Ghana Academy of Arts and Sciences, where the book about his father, Bafo Akoto, is being launched. I'll tell you a bit about Akoto later when his sister joins me. But our Greek minister is doing well. You look at food inflation the last time, you will see that the food inflation is working. Food prices went up as a result of transport and petrol, but he's doing it. He has a crop and grain industry that he's working. For the last 5 years, he's been working, and he's been working in the crisis with very little money. Also, Efria Akoto, I think that you're doing well. A lot more to go, but Adom-Otchere has been combing the whole world, looking for affordable housing for our people. And every day he's signing something else. And they are trying to put Sagleme in shape and then do other things. He's working. He's working very, very hard in terms of what is happening. Samuel Abu-Napo is in charge of our lands. And he's been working with chiefs on Galamsey and on this, on that, on Apiate, and he's everywhere. That's the energy with which these people are doing the work in the crisis. Is what should be impressive to everyone. Yes, there's crisis. There's no doubt about it. But in the crisis, see what is happening. You know, and then this is Henry Korte. Oh, this one, you know him, Henry Korte. Henry Korte is dealing with Accra. And now when you drive around Accra, you can see every road is being expanded. Almost every road in Accra is being expanded. And the other day I spoke to Information Minister. And I asked him that. So what is going on right now? He said, Paulus, you know, what we want to achieve is that sometime next year or the year after, I should be able to come on your show. And then you open phone lines. And then I will ask the people, where do you live? Where are you calling from? He says, I'm calling from X. And I will tell them the development that has occurred in their area. And I'll be able to say that for every Ghanaian everywhere. Because the development of infrastructure, we are doing it across the country. That's what he told me. And then he pointed to what Henry Cote is doing in Accra. So yes, people like Henry Cote, in the heat of the crisis, they are working. They are really doing their work. Dominic Nitiwu, the amount of resources that the military has pumped in protecting us, all the things, I'm going to be interviewing him soon, because he told me, I was shocked, how we have arrested terrorists without announcing it, how we have arrested terrorists in the Volta region, the border of North, how we have deployed more military. When I was growing up, the military had only 6 battalions. Today they have about 10. Deployed them all over in terms of equipment. He tells me that President Akufo-Addo's record of delivering equipment to the military and the police is unsurpassed. It's all happening within the crisis. This is the crisis. It's all happening. And that's why sometimes you see the opposition is not able to push the agenda so far, because they must give us an alternative. But here we are, in the middle of the crisis, the country is working. The military and the police are being retooled like crazy. The other day, President Akufo-Addo gave them 1,500 motorbikes for the police. Even look at how our police appear. Look at the number of pickups. In the crisis, in the currency crashing, in the Ukraine war, in the COVID, in the excessive debt of the country, it is working. This is not what we saw before. There was no excessive debt. There was no COVID. The lights went off. It just went off. They didn't tell us. It just off. That's all. Every day off. You are there, it's off. And then every day you see energy minister is in Turkey, he's bringing a plant, so the light is off. It was just off. Today is on. The crisis is there. It is on. It is working, but there's crisis and we are suffering. We know that. But it looks like the guys are working. Let's evaluate these people. And I'm hoping civil society can do this evaluation, because they can do it better than I can. So they should do this evaluation. Let's see how Imani, I trust Imani to be able to do something like that. What is the work rate of our ministers within the crisis period? How is Ministry of Finance to be assessed? How is Ministry of Defense to be assessed? How is Ministry of Information to be assessed? And let's deal with it. You know, oh yeah, of course. Dame is on top of the law. I'm sure by now they all know that. He's so on top of the law that every day they are looking for some story about him. The other day they said his bodyguard had done something. It wasn't true. It didn't go anywhere. Because he's such a young man, he's so bold, because his boldness comes from his acquaintance with the law. That's what attorney generals are about. And he's been the youngest attorney general from the time of Nkrumah. And he's taking the role of the attorney general. The other day, Moses Form, when he was in this studio, he said Godfrey Dame is a guy with a 75-year-old brain. That's the work is going on. Yes, the currency is bad, and everyone complains. I know ministers complain to other ministers, tell you what is happening. Every time in their own MPP, they are complaining. But the machinery is running. And that's why the schools are open. That's why the lights is on. That's why the roads are being done. In the crisis, in the debt crisis, in the currency crisis, it seems to me like it is working. Ambrose Derry has been quiet handling the interior and is working with the police and the immigration. Look at the way the immigration turned out these days. At the weekend, I went out of Accra to Akosombo and places like that. I just took a drive. Sometimes I do that. Next time you want to go with me, just call me. We can go together. I do it on Sundays, okay? And I got to Akosombo, the Adom-Otchere bridge, and I saw an immigration officer. As soon as I saw him, I thought it was a police officer because of the gear. So when I approached him, he had guns. I said, are you immigration? He said, immigration. I said, you have this uniform? He said, oh yeah. We have been told so that we can offer support. Part of the immigration has been told so they can offer support to the police. That happens in America. It is happening in Ghana. I looked at it. I was very impressed. I looked at the way the police people are clothed. All the way from Accra, you go through Atimpoku, you go through Frankadua, Okujeto, Black West constituency. I've been telling him that I've been going to his constituency. You go through Juapon, and you see the way the police and the custom people appear. You know that this is a serious country. Just the way, because I'm judging it from history. I've been in this country all my life. I saw how they appear. You see custom officers appear on Sunday at Juapon. You know that this is a serious country. And that's the work of Ambrose Derry. You know, so, and this is Adom-Otchere, Chief of Staff, who says very little, sitting in the Jubilee House, pressing the button, driving the agenda. I think we need to pray for them. I'm not saying we should vote for them. I'm saying we should pray for them. I ask for votes. It's everybody's decision. When the vote comes, you decide what you want to do, no problem. I'm not talking about vote for them. I'm saying that we should pray for them because they look like they are very serious people. And then, of course, this is Alhaji Muhammadu Bawumia, who is the vice president, who is also in there pushing the digitalization agenda. I see people talk about the app, the app for the registration of SIM card. That single effort to provide ID card for Ghanaians. It means so much, and it costs a lot of money. And it has been done in the crisis, in the debt, in the this. It has been done. But identification management systems is the sine qua non to determine a modern society right now. Without identification management systems, your society is not modern. You don't have a card. We don't know how many people are in Kutubabi. We don't know how many people are here. We don't know anything. The society is not modern. The only way Ghana can plug into the global situation is to digitalize. Mahamadou Bawumia has focused on this in spite of all the bashing he's getting, and you are this and you said this, you said that. He's focused and he's driving the digitalization agenda. That's something to be said for that. And it's something to be said for a group of men as compared to another group of men. Yes. It's something to be said for a group of men compared to another group of men, isn't it? Okay, let's move on. Of course, this is the boss. that's the boss. The boss, that's the boss, the ultimate boss. Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, he's leading the charge. And he said so many times that let the crisis go on. In 2023, we'll come and tell the Ghanaian people what we have done. And he's hoping that his party will win the next election. I don't know whether his party will win the next election or not. I'm just saying that at this stage, you pray for them.